Hey, this is 7th graders. This video goes over a few of the questions on the 7.5.1 test for us to review and look at some of the ones that gave students some of the most trouble. One of the questions that was difficult was this question right here. It was on different numbers on the pre-AP and on-level tests, so I did not put the question number down. The question said an aquarium shaped like a rectangular prism had a length of 12 inches and a width of 11 inches and a height of 20 inches. So I've labeled those parts in our picture. So the aquarium has been filled with water as shown below. So we have a bunch of water that is going up to this line that's here. So here's the height of the water. The question says if the volume of the water is 2,244 cubic inches, how high is the water? So we have volume equals big V times H. So we have a rectangular prism. That means the base is a rectangle. So we know a couple of things. We know the volume is 2,244. And we know that the base is a rectangle. So that's length times width. So we can put in length times width. And we're trying to find out what is the height. We don't know. So we'll plug in what we know. 2,244 equals our length times width, which is 12 times 11 times our height. So we can say which one of these four numbers can we plug in to get the correct answer. If we use some logical thinking, the maximum height that our prism can be filled with water is 20 inches. So if we look at our answer choices, 3 of our answer choices are more than 20 inches. The only one that's left that's less is answer choice A. So if I multiply 12 times 11 times 17, I should get 2,244. So you have to use a little bit of logical thinking. Cannot have it filled over the 20 inches because that is the maximum height. All right, then this is the next question we're going to look at. It says Matt is making a model of a tent for his project. The area of the base is 56 square inches. What's the volume or the best estimate? So we have a prism here. Remember, I told you it looks like a tent. We have a rectangular prism. So we have big V times H for our prism. Well, lucky for us, it says already that the area of the base is 56. So we don't have to calculate anything. We just can replace that big B with 56. So I have 56 for the area of the base times my height of 27. And it says which is the best estimate for the volume. So we can round 56 to 60. And we can round 27 to 30. So we have 60 times 30. So 6 times 3 is 18. And add 2 zeros after it. So the correct answer for this problem is C. All right, moving on to the next problem. It says Mark and Susie are using buckets to empty their flooded basement. Each bucket holds 5 cubic feet of water. If the basement is 14 feet wide by 20 feet long by 2 feet deep, how many buckets of water will be needed to empty the basement? So our basement is shaped like a rectangular prism. So it might look something like this, minus my bad drawing. Just pretend it looks good. So our basement would be shaped something like this. And the basement is 14 feet wide, so we can put 14 here, and 20 feet long. And it tells us that the water level in the basement here, so where the water is down here at the bottom, that water level is 2 feet. So I had a lot of students figure this out. We have a rectangular prism. So volume equals big B times H. Our base is a rectangle. So we have length times width times height. So I have 20 times 14 times 2. Okay, and you can multiply these in any order that you want. So if you do 2 times 14, that's 28. And I can add a 0 to that at the end for the 20. And I multiply that by 2. And you get 560. So I saw several people with this answer. This is the volume of the amount of water in the basement, 560 cubic feet. But the question asks us to figure out how many buckets they're going to need to empty. So it told us that each bucket held 5 cubic feet of water. So that means we have to take 560 and we are going to divide it by 5 to see how many buckets we would need. So 5 goes into 5 once, subtract, have 0 left, bring down my 6. 5 goes into 6 one time, 5, 1 left, bring down my 0, and 5 goes into 10 twice. So they would need 112 buckets of water to be removed from the basement. Okay, moving on to our next. It says, what is the closest to the surface area of the figure here? So we have to look at all of the measurements that are given to us in this figure. Okay? All right, so if we look at C right here, we know it's 5 inches here, and if we look at the bottom, it's 8 inches. So the area of this is 8 times 5, which gives us 40. So that C is 40, which also means this C is 40. So if we look at our A's next, I can see on the side here it's 3, and on the top here is 5. So for A, our area is 5 times 3, which equals 15. So that means these two right here, this one is 15, and that one is also 15. So the only one we have left to do is B. So I know B is 8 across the bottom, and it's also this length right here, which is 3. So our B's are 8 by 3. So 8 times 3 is 24. So that means our rectangle B's are 24. So we were asked to find the surface area of this figure. So now all we have to do is add them up. So if I have my A's, that was 15 plus 15 for a total of 30 for my rectangle A's. For my B's, it was 24 plus 24 for a total of 48. And when I have C's, there were 2 of those, so that was 40 plus another 40 for a total of 80. So we are going to add all of this together to get our total. So 0 plus 8 plus 0 is 8. And that's 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 plus 8 is 15. So our total surface area would be 158. Okay, if you are on level, that completes your video for some of the questions that gave students the most difficulty on the test. If you are a pre-AP student, we have one more question that we are going to go ahead and have a look at. So this is for pre-AP only. It says a gardener has a cylindrical planter that has a diameter of 24 inches and it's 2 feet deep. So there's some key words here. Diameter, it's 24 inches, and it's 2 feet deep. What's the approximate cubic feet that he wants to put in potting soil? So we've got some information. So it's given us diameter, so that goes all the way across. So that's 24 inches. And then it says that it's 2 feet deep, so we'll put our feet over here on the side. Now, it's asking us for the volume. So remember, volume equals big B times H. So our big B for a cylinder is a circle. So we need to go to our formula chart and replace the big B with area of a circle. So that formula is pi times radius squared, and then we just multiply that by the height. So if we look, we've got to find a radius, but we've got a little bit of a problem in this problem. This measurement is in inches, and this measurement is in feet. Okay, the question asks us for cubic feet, so everything needs to be converted to feet. So there are 12 inches in 1 foot, so that means in 24 inches, there are going to be 2 feet. So that means our diameter is 2 feet. But remember, for our formula, we need a radius. So radius is half, just halfway across. So that means we take half of 2 feet. So to get our radius of 1. So our radius is 1 foot. So let me do that again. So we divide it by 2, and I get our radius equals 1 foot. So this problem actually becomes pretty easy once we have our measurements. So we can estimate using pi as 3 times our radius, which we calculated is 1 squared, times our height, which is 2. So I have 3. Remember, 1 squared means 1 times 1, so that's just 1, times 2. So 3 times 1 is 3, times 2 gives me 6. So that was our estimated answer by rounding pi to 3. And so the closest answer to that would be answer choice B. So this one is very, very tricky because the measurements are 2 different units. We need to make sure they are both the same units to successfully complete this problem. So that completes our video.